Alrighty, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, so I'm just going to do test, test, test. Test, test, test.
Test, test, test.
Wonderful.
Test, test, test. Wonderful. Test, test, test. Wonderful.
All right, if you guys can hear me, please let me know. Actually, in chat, we'd love to actually hear from you guys. Okay, I just want to see if somebody's there. Internet here is so slow right now, so I do apologize to everybody. All right, thanks, Kathy. All right, so I'm going to start right from the beginning. So basically, earlier this week, I was not feeling well. I was feeling very fatigued, is what I was experiencing. And Friday, I was like, "That's it. It's my day off. I'm going to go down to the doctor's." And went into the doctor's, very unprofessional doctor's office. Went down there, and the doctor said to me, though, "Here's some pills. Basically, though, is if you don't feel right, please get to the hospital." So that night, though, we actually had company over, and I was feeling very much so fatigued. I think so that the person that was also here, she is kind of like a nurse actually in a seniors home, so she kind of knew what to do. But I turned around to Trevor right away, and I was like, "Hey, Trev, call the paramedics." And our friend though was helping out Trevor, so the paramedics did come up, and I went into the hospital. Now, while I was actually going to the hospital, Trevor, and for those that know that we actually have a little cat, anyways, they heard double knocks actually on the door. So it was like, is what they heard. So Trevor said he went to the door and there was nobody there. Now, the funny thing though is actually prior to going, like calling to the paramedics and everything else, Trevor actually had tried to call me over his phone, which is hooked up with his car. So it's actually built in. Right when he called those, I got white static sound. And I was like, okay, fine. So I was like, "Hey, Trevor. And then what had happened though is, thanks a lot, Christy. What happened though is I tried Trevor back, and the same thing happened. So I was like, okay, that's very weird. And the company came over. I was feeling fatigued, not feeling right at all. And it's been going actually on kind of a week. So again, as I said, Trevor, call the paramedics. Trevor called the paramedics. They came. I was leaving. I left actually approximately half an hour after right when I left. Trevor heard the knocks actually on the door. He went to answer the door to see if anybody's there. We live in a seniors complex, so seniors don't run. Anyway, so nobody was there at the door. But right when I actually got to the emerge, the ambulance, the paramedics people were really cool. So we would get chit chatting actually while I was like laying on the stretcher, and there was one guy though that was brought in. He was thrown actually into one separate room, and the night started from there. He was thrown in by the regional police, but eventually I got actually my own room, which was good. But right when I got my own room, I got 2 pints of blood given to me, and we still weren't sure what was going on. But it was kind of weird though, because while I was actually in the room, all right, I closed my eyes, and I was like, okay, thank you very much, actually, ancestors. Thank you very much, angels, for being with me. And I opened up my eyes. I saw the weirdest lights ever. It was like a matrix red light. So like the matrix, what you sort of see with those greens. That's what I saw with the red lights. So I had to like go like that. I was like, close my eyes and shake my head. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I got a little bit more relaxed. Did the same thing, closed my eyes, just because I needed sleep and I couldn't get sleep. So I opened up my eyes, and the same thing kept on happening. So I was like, that's it, final. I couldn't really move my arm right here. Actually, you guys can sort of see on camera. That's right where the blood was actually being drawn into the 2 pints. So it took 4 hours for the 2 pints to be able to come, like, go into my body. And it kept on happening. So what had happened though, so this was Saturday morning, I woke up and I was like, okay, fine. They brought some actually juice and everything else. And we still weren't too sure what was going on. Trevor still came over. I said, Trev, can you actually come over, please bring a couple of things. So I brought some things over, which is cool. So he came into Emerge and found out though that I could go actually up out of the Emerge and go up to the cafeteria and actually get proper food. So that's what we did a couple times. And then all of a sudden, Trevor was actually on the way home. And I called Trevor and it's like, hey, yeah, I'm actually moving up to the 3rd floor. And I totally forgot what the 3rd floor was. But right when I got to the 3rd floor, I found out that it was pediatrics. And with the pediatrics, there was a couple of little rooms so that were actually set aside for overflow. I was one of the overflows. Went into the room. Sweet lady. Very sweet. Her and I, we hit it off so well. So yeah, we were chit-chatting and everything else. And then all of a sudden it came a little bit later, and I didn't get my lunch or dinner at all. So I went down to the cafeteria, came back, and she was passed out. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to bother her. And then the night nurse came in because they were doing the switch around with actually the other nurse. And I looked at the nurse. She looked at me, and I was like, okay, fine. So later on, right when everything was being like after hours, the lights were out and all that, I got up and started chit-chatting with her. We went in the hallway, we chit-chatted. So I know that she actually follows us actually on one of the apps so that you can listen to Trevor's podcast, which is Haunting Live Podcast. He does Sundays live at 4 o'clock actually on YouTube. That's for Haunting Live. And then you can catch the recaps actually on the podcast. So she's been following Zoom with also her other half. Anyway, so we're actually in the hallway chit-chatting quite a bit. I explained to her about my spiritual life. And then I said to her, I don't want to kind of freak you out, but just let you know, just down actually in the hallway a little bit, I see this old lady. Like it was time period for old. Anyways, what happened though is she's like, oh, what's she wearing? Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, she's wearing a white runner's white outfit and also a white cap. Of course, it's common for a hospital, but all of a sudden the one nurse turned and said, what's she doing? I said, she's looking actually at us, trying to figure out who we are and what we're doing actually in the hallway. Found out though that the nurse I was originally talking to has had large experiences altogether. So those are 2 great experiences actually I had over the weekend while I was in the hospital. For some people it'd be kind of scary, some people not. And anyway, so it was the next day later, after trying to get some sleep actually this Saturday night till Saturday, Sunday, or whatever. Sorry, Friday to Saturday. I do apologize. My whole time period's actually off. But it was the second night though. Anyway, so I tried to get some sleep. And the next morning though, I got up, went down to the cafeteria, got some breakfast early. Our cat gets me up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that's what time I got up, was 6. I know the cafeteria doesn't open until 6:30. So I was like, okay, fine. Went back to the room, relaxed. Well, I was actually there, coming back. Again, I came across the same nurse, the spirit nurse. And she was actually trying to communicate with me. Now, my communication actually with energy is actually within the third eye. So I could actually sense what she was trying to say to me. I can't hear them at all. Trevor has the ability to actually hear the spirits actually communicate. So Trevor would have been able to hear the communication from her. So I was like, okay, I need to go back to the room. 6:30 came along. I went out to the cafeteria. The same paramedic, though, that actually put the IV actually in. He was ahead of me. Cute guy. But yeah. So I was like, okay, fine. And then everything else was pretty good. So the Queen of Booga Booga, which if you guys don't catch her show, she's live Sunday nights. She also does readings, but I deal with Oracle. She deals with tarot. She actually mentioned over her show of what pretty much was going on. She didn't go into full detail about me. That's thank you guys. And then it was weird though. This is actually yesterday. I'm actually sitting on the one side of the bed. I have my cell phone hooked up with also my charger. So I was trying to move the cord for the IV very slightly. Right, I knew it was there. Anyway, so my body turned, and what happened was the IV came completely out. So it came out of there. It was the full thing. And I was like, oh, shoot, because then the one nurse was already in the room a couple of minutes ago. So I had to call her back, and there was no blood at all. It was completely dry. And I said to her, I'm sorry, but this is what took place. She said, don't worry about things like that happen. So basically, for myself, though, I was like saying, okay, since my angels are with me, my spirit ancestors are with me here in the hospital. So I gave them thanks actually for that, for allowing that to be able to happen. Anyways, they switched to this location up here. All right, you guys can see that. And then what had happened though is I found out eventually though that my iron was completely low. It was down to 65 at pass, so it was actually 80. So my iron is completely low. Then they gave me 2 pints actually of iron supplements to go into the blood. And I was like, okay, cool. And then some other weird stuff has happened while I was actually in the hospital. But actually, as a spiritual medium, we're well known actually and more open-minded to the energy of the spirits. Now, I forget who it was, but somebody said to me, do not close it down. Let it fall through to me. So that's what I did though, is I allowed actually the energy of the energy in the hospital to be able to come to me and be able to actually talk to me. The lady though that was actually in the bed next to me, a sweet lady, her and I, we started chit-chatting. I got her to listen to the Queen of Booga Booga's actually show. She kind of chuckled, especially what the Queen of Booga Booga was saying about don't eat hospital food. And then her and I, we did some actually self-developed, actually spiritual workshop. I helped her out with a little bit more stuff. And now today though is Monday. And she turned around to me this morning before I left the room, even though I want to say hotel because it's kind of like hotel. Before I left the hospital though, she turned around to me and she said a couple little things, which was really sweet. But anyway, so this morning, actually at 7:30, I actually had the scope done. Though I actually had 2 aneurysm actually down below. Hopefully they checked them out. But I'm actually now underneath more pills. I'm actually underneath iron pills. But with that one lady that was right beside the bed to me, she said to me, you know, that she's been actually in the hospital ever since beginning of April. She didn't explain to me why or whatsoever, which I didn't need to know. But the thing though is, she turned around and said though, out of roommates that she's had, I'm the very first person though that has been able to talk to her, right? Has helped her out with the spiritual life. She also indicated that she has never had the chance actually to have a full night's sleep. And she said ever since the first night I was there, I for some reason, with my presence and also with my energy, it was able to help her actually get some sleep. And that's the big thing though. And well, I've got you guys actually here tonight. I'm going to do a couple of quick little readings. I've got my favorite cards, which are the power animal cards. All right. Whoop, right there. A couple of them are ready to pop out. All right. I'm just going to let you know what the power animal cards actually have to say, especially you for the weekend. So, all right. One of them already popped out. All right. So I'm not going to shuffle them anymore. This one's really good though. All right. It's lion. It's courage though. All right. We actually always have to have courage. Doesn't matter what type of incident that we're actually in, right? We always have to have courage and look higher, all right? And it is, again, though, is ask for what you want, all right? So it doesn't matter if we're in the darkness, dark times, or even if we're in the right times, all right? Always ask our guides what we want, all right? They'll actually offer it to us might not be right away. Might be down the road, or you within years. For myself, though, I do actually have to say, though, that they actually did offer to me within the time period, because I gave them praise. And that's one thing that a lot of us don't do, though, is actually give our actually spirits and also our ancestors praise. So that was with courage, though. So I actually had the nature courage over the weekend. Now, the next ones I'm going to be doing, though, this is actually the Angels and Ancestors. It's from Kyle Gray. All right. I'm going to see what pops out or what comes to. So, hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I know Ontario, though, we had gorgeous weather. So I don't know where you guys are all from, but yeah, I do say thanks for popping in tonight. Right. Friday nights, though, at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'm live with Eva. Eva is actually from Brown City, Michigan. She deals with the tarot cards. I deal with the oracle cards here. So let's just see what the cards have to say. So, all right. So yeah, I just flipped that one. Yep. I'm just going to keep on flipping until all of a sudden I get all three cards. So yeah. Okay. So the first one, though, is actually with the situation, what they want us to know about the current situation. All right. Especially with myself letting you guys know about this. So, all right. And it's a hermit card. Retreat and recharge. Well, that's what I did over the weekend, though. Even though I was actually in the hospital for medical reasons, it gave me time to relax and not put anything negative forward with inside the hospital, and also recharge. So I recharged myself, right? That way we found out what was going actually on. Plus, also I recharged myself actually within the spiritual life. So that one there does mean quite a bit. Now the next one, though, is actually within the heart situation, what the heart wanted us to know about. All right. And this is actually Star Ancestor. Follow the voice actually of your soul. Okay. Right. So yeah, you can sort of see actually one of the divine masters actually right here over top of the pyramids. The pyramids are actually always well known to know that they actually we're always pointing to the stars. All right. And that's what they do. But with this one here, all right, it does mean quite a bit. And that one there is actually follow the voice. The voice actually wanted us to know, even myself wanted me to know exactly, hey, you need to recharge yourself. You need to do this. So that's the one thing I did though over the weekend, within being in the hospital. If you guys have catched any of this a little bit late, all right, please rewatch this at the end. Don't worry about the last two. The last two are going to be actually deleted. So yeah, start Ancestors. All right, and it was beautiful, beautiful weekend. The eclipse happened last night. That was up until the rain though happened today, early this morning, within Southern Ontario, even Northern Ontario. But yeah, so the stars were actually out shining bright, which is really good. Now the last one though is within change or challenge though. All right, I'll look at it, change or challenge though. And this one here is Mother Earth, right? And it's basically feel the love and comfort. All right. So for those who actually were sending the information, like the comments actually over top of my personal Facebook page, I do say thanks a lot. All right. And yeah, Mother Earth actually made me feel comfort and love. So that's one thing though that she was actually able to do with me. Even though that, yeah, over the weekend, actually I had great spiritual experiences, some paranormal stuff. But again, though, it's with the one nurse though that actually said though that she follows us directly. It's weird though because again though she came into the room later on that night. She goes and says, "By any chance, are you one of the guys that part of Haunting Live podcast?" And I never said anything to anybody that day about that. And I said to her, "Yeah." She goes and says, "I follow you guys closely." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks. I'm gonna let Trevor know." So I'm actually in the hallway chit-chatting with her, text Trevor right away, and said, "Yeah, one of your followers is actually one of the nurses here in the hospital. I can't disclose actually who she is or whatever, but one of the nurses there." So she listens to Trevor actually on podcasts. But with Trevor actually being in season 3 right now, I do encourage you guys. All right, if you guys don't catch Trevor live Sundays at 4:00, catch him actually underneath the podcast providers. What do you guys actually have? Type in Haunting Live podcast. She said that a lot of the guests that Trevor's had so far are awesome. And I was like, yeah. I said, wait until later on down the road, there's going to be a lot more great people. But again, if you guys want to be able to take part actually with me on Friday nights, I'm live here with Eva. We're going to be live here at 8 o'clock underneath Divine Oracle readings. Eva does readings with tarot cards. I do readings with Oracle cards. We do encourage you guys to do that out. Plus, also check out our website. Our website is hauntinglivepodcast.com. We have merchandise actually on there, and also if you want to check actually in Trevor's podcast, they're on there. Plus, also Divine Oracle readings. Just go underneath the top area, click actually on podcast, and then down below you'll be able to find me, which is Spiritual Medium Chris. Some people call me that, but I'm actually well known actually as Brother Medium Chris. And you can find out more information about me there. All right. I do say thanks a lot, you guys. You guys have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you guys later and see you guys Friday. Bye.